Reserving the right to object. This resolution itself and the wording that it has in this resolution says it's the sense of the Senate that every person has the basic right to emergency health care, including abortion care. Let me be very, very specific on this. We had a hearing today in the Finance Committee where this same subject was addressed. We had OBGYNs from both perspectives on this, those that perform abortions and those that have a moral objection to it. We had a very good argument to be able to lay some facts out, to be able to walk through this. We had two sets of attorneys that were there to be able to walk through the law. Here's what became very clear during that conversation this morning in that open hearing. There is no state in America which a woman faces persecution or prosecution for having an abortion. No state criminalizes miscarriage. No state criminalizes removing an ectopic pregnancy. No state prohibits life-saving care for the mother. No state requires a woman to be actively dying in order for her doctor to care for her. We heard story after story about doctors being concerned that they may face this because they're hearing political rhetoric like Vice President Harris in a speech that she said recently where she said women were being arrested and facing prosecution for experiencing miscarriages. That is not true. So all of this rhetoric that is being put out there is making doctors afraid, but was very clear from the conversation in law that none of those things are actually true. Every physician prior to the Dobbs decision, when there were limitations on abortion across the country, and post-Dobbs decision, when every single state is making those decisions, allowed physicians in an ER to be able to make life-saving decisions for the mother and the child. Every doctor has already the ability to be able to make that decision to be able to protect the life of the mother. They have the protections to be able to do that. So this is a false claim that somehow that what happened in the Dobbs decision and what's happening in states is limiting that. It's actually the political rhetoric that's making people afraid. What also came out during the hearing this morning was the very real risk of chemical abortions. That we've recently had tragic situations where women use the chemical abortion pills that they're being told are as safe as Tylenol, and then it has life-threatening and in some cases recently life-taking consequences. Chemical abortion pills are not Tylenol, yet they're being sold as that. And what we're seeing is more and more cases of the diminishing of this is no big deal to be able to end this pregnancy when they haven't seen a doctor, because the Biden administration is now saying you don't have to see a physician, so the woman doesn't know if she has an ectopic pregnancy or not. If she takes the chemical abortion pill while she has an ectopic pregnancy, she is at risk. But the Biden administration is saying you don't have to go see a doctor, they can just mail it to you. It's just as safe as a Tylenol, when it's not. We're also not being tested for their blood type to be able to make sure this doesn't affect future pregnancies during this chemical abortion, and they're not also determining by a sonogram how far along the mom is in this process, because there are limitations to this where it becomes more and more dangerous. All those things are restrictions that used to be there that the Biden administration has taken away to say, no, we want more people to have access to chemical abortions, but it's making it more dangerous for women. And we have seen that recently. So we want to engage in a conversation about how can we actually put some of those basic, humane, doctor-requested restrictions in there to make sure that we're protecting the lives of all those women. That's a better conversation for us to be able to have, is to say, what is it that the FDA had actually said was appropriate in the past, and what can we do to be able to protect the lives of women? So, yes, I object to this resolution on it based on the wording and what we're doing, but yes, we should continue to be able to have this conversation because there is a real concern that more and more doctors are afraid to do basic health care in an ER because more and more people are laying rhetoric out there that they're going to be arrested, and that is not true. There's not been a single physician in the country that has been arrested based on actually performing life-saving care for a mom in any ER room in the country.